Okay, it's been a little bit, but here comes the long-promised overview of modifications that I've done to my 2025 Rebel 1100 DCT Touring. I'm sure you're picking up on a few of them right off the bat. I've got 2 camera angles, so you may catch me over there off to the right while I walk around. But we're going to go over everything today. Talk about what it works, what doesn't. Talk about what I like and what I had to modify. So we'll start up front. Overall, the fairing actually provides pretty good protection. That being said, I feel the need to share my size. I am 6'1". I am about 290 pounds. I'm mostly torso, almost all torso. My inseam is only 31 inches, so my upper body is actually rather tall. Whenever I sit in a seat, my wind protection for me is always trouble, no matter what bike I'm on. This bike does a great job of pushing this wind where it needs to be for a smooth airflow on a helmet for me. I have almost no protection beyond this point. Anything above this is in straight smooth wind, which is great in Houston for the summers. Anything below this, protected by the fairing, and actually does a pretty good job. I'm happy with that. I've swapped over to the shorter windshield, the one that came stock with the bike, because it's starting to warm up here in Houston already in the middle of February, end of February. So the one that I've purchased recently is this one from T-Rex. This is the same company that we'll see with the engine guards. This one comes with different docking hardware. And it actually, if I hold this up next to it, or I even slide it behind it, as you can see, it extends it quite a bit. I mean, quite a bit. Now, with this windshield, the top crown of my helmet gets hit by air, but everything else is fine. So that windshield is great for touring. This windshield that I have installed is great for the summer, the one that comes with the bike. You may notice there are some holes in the windshield. So I actually drilled out this windshield to take on a clip-on because I had the clip-on slip off on me while I was riding. And even though the clip-on looks better than a tall windshield, and it does provide protection with the wind, from the wind, it causes severe head buffeting, as most clip-ons probably do. So that had to go. I've more or less accepted that I need 2 windshields a while back. Taking the fairing off is just 6 bolts. But these bolts are actually pretty poorly designed. They're very soft metal. I find myself that if I use any kind of electric tool to take them off, they strip very easily, so be careful of that. All this is stock. Engine bars. Those are the next ones. So these are from that company T-Rex. You probably already saw a video, and if you haven't, please check out my videos of these engine bars in action whenever I drop the bike. As you can see, they got a pretty aggressive profile, but that's intentional. You want to make sure these things hit the ground before anything else. They have skid plates as well, and these are replaceable, which is very nice. And just to touch on it while we're here, we've got luggage bars as well. Saddlebag Guards, as well. They bolt up very nice to the frame. There is zero movement once the bolts are tightened. I like them a lot. They do their job. As a matter of fact, not a day after I installed them, I forgot to put a kickstand down whenever I was getting off my bike, and I put the bike down. Protected them just fine. Did no damage to the bike whatsoever. And that's actually what sparked the video that I did reviewing the drop. Next, I'm a big guy. These stock mirror locations, absolutely terrible. All I saw was my shoulder. I would have to bend over as much as I could just to even see past my shoulder. They either need to be longer and stick farther out, or go with bar ends. That's what I did here. These are the Finier off of Amazon. I just picked them up off of Amazon. So these are the stock bolts for the handle grips. There is enough thread on there to capture the thread. I used thread lock just to be sure that it stayed. And to give it that space that it needed so that the throttle still operated just fine, I used the equipment that came with the Finier, and there was a space here. There was a spacer in there. You have to split the spacer in half pretty much. There's brake tabs on the spacer. If you break off those tabs and use the core piece that's left, it is just wide enough to fit in there and for you to snug this down as tight as possible and it not interfere with the throttle. So I've got those installed. They do an absolutely wonderful job of protecting or of allowing me to see behind me. I only wish they were a little bigger. Maybe that big. I understand Honda sells some for the special edition Rebel 1100. I may look into getting those. Next is quad lock. If you look back here, I've routed the charging cable for this quad lock down through here, have zip tied it here, and then it plugs right into the back, right there. You'll notice there's something else on there. Well, that's because I wanted to use the charging cable that came with quad lock. If you don't know already, the quad lock charging cables actually come with a waterproof connection to the quad lock itself. The problem is, this is a USB-C connection on the bike, and this is a USB-C connection on here. Well, the cable that quad lock provides is not USB-C by USB-C, and they do not sell one from what I could tell. So to keep things secure, I went ahead and used the stock one that was waterproof on this connection because I figured this was further away from the fairing, and if anything got wet, it'd be this side. And I had to use an adapter here. You'll see that silver bit in there. I had to use an adapter there to go from USB standard to USB-C. Other than that, works great. Keeps my phone charged just fine. I actually do think the adapter might be screwing with the charging a little bit. My phone charges a little slowly, but that might also be my phone protecting itself from heat. Running navigation and those types of things can heat up your phone if you're wirelessly charging while doing so. I added these highway pegs. These are just straight from Amazon. They were made for a Harley Davidson, but they work just fine on these engine guards. They work great. No problems at all. The sticker bombing, forgive me. There was a couple things behind this. My kid loves stickers. She loves to sticker things. And this worked out because she wanted to put stickers on the bike. And I said, only the plastic pieces. That's what they're on. They're only on the plastic pieces. And I said, only the stickers that I pick out. So we proceeded to have a little fun activity where we sticker bombed on both sides of the bike, all the plastic pieces. There are bands that I like. But other than that, that's just all that is. It's just sticker bombs. I did cut out the 1100 here so that could still be read through the stickers. The Swingarm bag. This was just a cheap bag from Cycle Gear. I'll show you how I've connected this actually. So this bag, ooh, that was not good. Let's be careful, Joseph. It did not mar the paint. I got lucky there. This bag is my tool bag. So in here, I have my tools. Inside here, I have a pump. I have my flat tire kit. I have all the standard tools that you would need to do everything on this bike, including remove the rear tire. In here, if you can see it, what I did was I zip tied it, but I used zip tie mounts to pass the zip ties through to provide a more sturdy base against the leather. My biggest concern here was that the zip ties were going to cut the leather over time. So I wanted to make sure that I secured it in a way to where the weight of the tools, which this is no light thing, to where the weight of the tools would not eventually pull the bag and cut the bag through. Always keep your tools in plastic if you're going to store them in a bag like this, because the water will get to it, I promise. It's just a matter of time. All right. Moving on back. We're going to touch on the big one the last, I promise. I know that's the one that you probably had the most questions about. Sissy Bar. So this one is from Viking Bags. It's actually a great little bar. I love the looks. I wanted something tall. I love how tall it is. I wanted something tall that gave that good styles to it, but also provided some functionality. This one has a little screw here that if you unscrew this drops down. And now it provides a nice little mounting place where the bag will sit. The other thing, the real reason why I like it, is because if I take my gym bag right here, pardon me, if I take my gym bag, I have a luggage strap on the back of my gym bag. Well, this works out because I could slide that luggage strap there. I can actually catch the top part of the bag here with the hanging loop. Now I could take this bar, push it up against my backpack, and then screw it in. And this thing could be hit by 120 mile per hour winds. And that sucker ain't gonna come off naturally. It wants to move around a little bit, but this sucker is not gonna pull all the way off. It provides a good leverage to keep the bag on tight. And it ended up working out very well. That was incidental, that was not planned. Some of the best stuff that happens is incidental. I use this for my vacation. I have a Vikings bag, I'll pull that out as well, that I purchased with it. And I use this to store all my stuff in on vacation. It's a little hassle to put on, but this slides over the top there, and then the bag underneath has a latch there that slides onto that. Secures the bag great. Bag didn't move at all during the trip. Put this up. The build quality is a little questionable. As you can see, I've gotten over it a long time ago, but the spacing is not equal on both sides. I understand that can be difficult to get right, but I kind of would have liked to see that. And this one really bothered me for a little while. If you notice, whenever I open that saddlebag, I have to pull it off to the side as I open. If I just let it drop, it will scratch it. You already see here, there's some scratch marks here from where my saddlebag has been hitting, and you see some damage to the paint there. I'll be honest, I'm over it. I'm just gonna make sure that that paint doesn't get any more damage, and I'm good. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Nice plate cover, and that's it. Now the Corbin seat. All right. So I have a tailbone injury. That means that I cannot sit in a normal saddle for any length of time. As a matter of fact, it's so bad that it will ultimately is the reason why I ended up getting a DCT. It got to the point where I could no longer shift gears. I could not feel my foot shifting up on a gear. It resulted in me trading in my NC750X 2019 for this. I needed a DCT. Ironic, I know, because the NC750X is actually one of the most well-known bikes for the DCT after the Gold Wing. But it ended up working out because I like the cruiser styling better. So, whenever it came to the seat, I was using an Airhawk 2, you might have seen that in the previous video, on the stock seat. And what that ended up allowing me to do was to actually sit further back on this seat than intended. That actually gave me a lot more leg room. So I was sitting somewhere back here. My butt was somewhere back here. So ironically enough, whenever I got this Corbin seat, I was actually sitting further forward. However, whenever I ordered this this Corbin seat, and I recommend you do the same, if you have any doubt about your tailbone and about your endurance, have them cut out a section of foam so that your tailbone is touching nothing except for the leather itself. Right here is plush. I know it may be difficult to see. Right here is plush, 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 and then there is flat. So whenever my butt is resting on this seat, I'm not touching anything right there, except for the leather, the stretched leather. And over time, leather breaks in. Corbin says it takes about 3,000 miles for the seat to fully break in. I believe that's what it said. The colorway was a guess. Their online configurator is kind of bad about showing true colors. So I actually ended up nailing it on this color and this color. This color was kind of a bridge between the two, so that ended up working out. And this sage welt color ended up being great because it may just be me, but it seems like there is a bit of a green hue to these metallic silver bikes that Honda sell, or that the paint that Honda puts on these Rebels. It ended up working out great. Before 2 hours on the saddle, I was done for the day. I couldn't go beyond that. With this saddle, I could do all day. And that is no joke. And that is coming from someone who is obviously larger. I'm a big person, I'm a big guy. I'm actively losing weight. I've already lost 50 pounds. I'm still working on it though. I've got another 50 at least to lose. So in the meantime, this allowed a very large person such as myself to be able to get on this bike and stay on it all day. I'm gonna do a fitment video later talking about how I actually fit on this motorcycle. But until then, I could just tell you I'm incredibly comfortable on the bike now that I've made these adjustments. My knees are bent, very sharp, which is what I like. And I have the highway picks to put up whenever I need to. I like the bike. I like it a lot. I'm a Harley guy I've always been a Harley guy, and I know this ain't a Harley, but it looks a lot like a mini Street Glide. And I actually like that a lot. I know it's supposed to be a Honda, but it kind of looks like a Harley, and I'm in love with it for that. I'm probably going to be riding this bike well into the 60, 70, 80,000 miles. But thank you for tuning in again. I promise I got more content coming. The Waco trip update. The Waco trip was a success. However, there were some issues with the weather. I couldn't get out and do the rides that I wanted to do. So as a result, what ended up happening was I ended up just piddling around. What I am gonna get from the Waco trip is one video that I got coming out that is, gonna warn you now, religious oriented. But this channel was never intended to be fully motorcycle. But it also gave me a lot of B-roll footage of places I don't normally ride. So it's stuff, you're gonna see it spatter into videos coming forward. One last update on the garage. This nice open garage that I have this motorcycle sitting in the center of, it's all about to get very, very full. I own a 92 Jeep Cherokee that I've rebuilt the motor on, but that is at my father-in-law's house. That is now coming here, and that's about an hour and a half away. In a couple of weekends, there will be a Jeep in here. I'm gonna lose the ability to record in this nice open garage, but you're gonna see some Jeep content as I continue to put the motor back together and the Jeep back together. Again, thank you for tuning in. I'll see y'all later. Please subscribe if you haven't.